Good day, my relatives. This is Orest Swazdeski from the Vision and Voices Collective. You can find me at www.visionandvoices.ca, together in collaboration with my partner Sherry Cameron from The Pathway to More, where she can be found at www.thepathwaytomore.com. I'm pleased to say that we have followed our vision and have created this Evolutionary Emergence virtual experience where we've called together 2,500 plus people from across the planet to join us online to see what the emerging future wants to share with us. Please welcome our next speaker.
All right. So excited to welcome Jozanne Elizabeth Joseph. And let me just tell you a little bit about Jozanne, sorry. Jozanne Elizabeth Joseph is a guide for women and conscious leaders ready to move beyond burnout, overwhelm, and spiritual bypassing into embodied inner mastery. With over 25 years in global financial services and leadership, and now as an ICF certified coach, CPA, and MBA, she brings a rare integration of grounded wisdom, emotional intelligence, and spiritual depth. Jozanne's work supports those who appear capable and successful on the outside, yet feel disconnected, dysregulated, or quietly exhausted within. She helps individuals restore their relationship with themselves through presence, nervous system awareness, self-trust, and conscious choice, so higher states of awareness can be lived. She is the creator of Prism, Personal Restoration and Inner Self Mastery, a transformational framework designed to help stabilize expansion, release old patterns, and anchor alignment into daily life. Jozanne believes inner mastery is not a journey of becoming someone new, but returning home to who you already are. What a great follow-up to our session with Jennifer.
Yeah, Jennifer was pretty incredible, Sherry. Thank you so
Awesome.
much
And back
for putting
to
on this event and
you.
having me here as a guest. I was a participant last year and I thought it was just a beautiful space to be in. So
Oh,
happy to be
awesome.
here.
Well, I'm so glad that and happy that you're on the flip side this year.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. You needed to share, right?
Yeah, I
Okay,
do. I
perfect.
need to
Go ahead.
share
Let's make sure that's going to work. Oh, there we go.
the
Yeah.
request. Okay, let's see. Okay. You let me know if you can
Perfect.
see screen. Yes.
Yeah, looks great.
Okay. So thank you everyone for having me here today. I hope that you found these presentations and speakers and experiences so far to be enlightening, engaging, and soul nourishing. For me, it's just been incredible so far. So I just want to say thank you for having me here. Why are we here? Before we begin, I want to acknowledge that many of you are here because you feel the call to grow, to expand, to lead, to serve, and to contribute in a bigger way. And I want to say that in a lot of spiritual spaces, that calling is framed as ascension, as somehow rising above and transcending the human experience. That becoming more high vibe, more evolved, more awakened is going to leave us and take us away from humanity. But what I want to offer you today is a reframe of that labeling. What if true ascension is not about rising above the human experience, but being fully present in our lived experience? What if evolution is not some grand escape, but rather deep embodiment, staying with what's happening right now, clear awareness of body, of breath, of feelings, and the mind as they are. I really feel that expansion isn't stabilized in the body or the nervous system or in our emotional capacity unless we feel it and embody it. And we hear over and over from some of the speakers yesterday. It's been really all coming together that this expansion becomes another thing that we have to strive for that's outside of us, another identity that we have to achieve, another way that we bypass what we're actually feeling and needing. So today we're not talking about presence as a nice to have concept. We're talking about presence as inner mastery, as a lived frequency, as the foundation that actually makes growth sustainable. And for a bit of context, I share this not as theory, but as something that's actually been revealed through my own lived experience and years of guiding others on a path of growth and awakening. Again and again, I've seen that when presence is missing, that growth that we're seeking becomes effortful. The inside alone doesn't create the integration. And when presence is restored, expansion can happen naturally. I define presence as, when your body, your attention, and your awareness are in the same place at the same time. It's not passive, it's the opposite of zoning out and numbing ourselves, which we're so conditioned to do. Presence is self-leadership. It's choosing to be here instead of rehearsing the next conversation in your head, which I do a lot of, bracing for the next demand that's going to be asked of you, or managing who you think you need to be in the moment. If I get the slides right. So why is presence so difficult? I think most of us are physically present, but internally we can be somewhere else. Where we're planning, we're fixing, we're strategizing, we're preparing for impact. And that constant mental activity becomes exhausting. And it's not necessarily that life is too much for us to handle, but that we're never fully landing inside our own experience. One of the authors that I love, Michael Singer, he wrote The Untethered Soul and the Surrender Experiment. And he talks about this beautifully when he says, "You are not the voice of the mind, you are the one who hears it." And presence begins when you shift from being inside the storm to becoming the one who can witness it. You're not suppressing emotion, you're not bypassing discomfort, but you're staying connected while whatever it is moves through you. This is where true mastery begins. Now, here's the part that is usually missing from conversations about growth and expansion. Your nervous system isn't interested in how awakened you are. It's interested in whether you feel safe. Do I need to run? Do I need to fight? Or do I freeze in place? And I believe it was Candace Stewart Finley who spoke about this yesterday in her talk about embodiment and the need for us to regulate our nervous system. When our system doesn't feel safe, it defaults to our survival strategies. And with, a lot of the women that I work with, it's overthinking, it's overworking, people pleasing, shutting down, or trying to control the outcomes. And we don't do that necessarily because there's any intention behind it. It's because our bodies are trying to protect us. So if you're trying to expand your impact open spiritually or step into leadership without first stabilizing the nervous system, we end up forcing growth instead of really allowing integration. And presence teaches our nervous system, I'm here with you. You don't have to handle this alone. We can feel this way and stay connected. And that's how we build our self-trust. It's not through affirmations or through positive thinking, change your mindset. That hasn't worked for a lot of us. It's through repeated experiences of staying connected to yourself instead of overriding your feelings when things get uncomfortable. And emotional capacity doesn't mean that we're feeling good all the time. It means you can feel whatever emotions arise without shutting down or getting defensive. That's evolutionary growth. That's self-leadership. It's what allows intuition to come in. It brings clarity, higher insight to actually land in the body instead of floating above it. Now, instead of talking about presence, I want us to feel it for a moment. And I'll invite you to just gently settle back in your chair, feet on the floor, if that's available to you, hands resting comfortably. And you can let your eyes close if that feels safe for you, or you can just soften your gaze. And I want you to take a slow breath in through your nose and a longer breath out through your mouth. So like this. We'll do this again. Now bring your awareness to the base of your spine and imagine a steady, grounded feeling of warmth there. You're not forcing relaxation in any way. You're just noticing. You're going to be with what is. And let that awareness just travel down your legs, into your feet, and into the floor beneath you. And I want you to notice that you're being supported. Now bring your attention to your chest. Not changing anything, just noticing movement, your breath rising and falling. And if your mind drifts, that's okay. Just gently come back to the sensation. Right now, we're not striving to solve anything. You're not trying to improve yourself in any way. You're just simply allowing yourself to be here and notice. Nothing's required of you in this moment. There's no fixing, no proving, no effort required, just our awareness. And I invite you to take one more slow breath. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. And what we just practiced is not meditation. It's awareness. It's presence as relationship. A relationship with your body, with your emotional state, with your lived experience, right here in the moment. And the most important part is that presence doesn't require any sort of complete overhaul. It requires micro moments of returning. So before you answer the email, after a difficult conversation, when you feel yourself rushing, take a breath, pause for a moment of inner awareness. And inner mastery becomes lived in each moment that we're present through that consistent reconnection. Noticing when you drift and returning, noticing, coming back. And when awareness is stable in the body and heart, the clarity will naturally rise. Our intuition becomes more trustworthy because we're being quiet now, we're actually listening and connecting. And our growth then becomes integrated. If you are someone who feels called to expand, to lead, to serve, to contribute, I want you to hear this really clearly. You don't need to sacrifice your well-being to evolve. I know a lot of healers and energy workers who burn themselves out because they're so committed to evolving humanity, to helping others grow, to helping heal pain, that they forget themselves in the process. That's not necessary for us to grow. You don't need to become a monk or go to an ashram and spend the day in meditation either. Your nervous system is not the enemy or an obstacle to your growth. It's the foundation that makes growth sustainable. And presence is what stabilizes your path. It doesn't slow you down. The nervous system doesn't learn through concepts. It learns through experience. So instead of explaining presence any further, I'd like to guide you into a short practice that helps your body feel what we've been talking about. And before we move into the practice, I want you to notice something. Most of the time when we feel stressed or overwhelmed, we're not actually in the moment. We're in our heads. We're replaying conversations. We're worrying about what's next. Or we're stuck on a recurring thought that just won't leave us alone. So here's what I'd like you to do as we begin. I want you to bring to mind one thought or a theme that's been bothering you lately. And it doesn't need to be anything dramatic, just something that keeps looping in the background. And now, instead of staying with the thought, I'm going to invite you to come back into your senses, to notice what you can see, what you can hear, anything you may smell in the room, any feeling in your body as you sit in the chair or on the floor. And if you'd like, give your shoulders a small shake or roll your neck a little from side to side. And be gentle with it. Just to help you loosen up your body. And the mind is going to try to pull you back into the story. And that's normal. Each time that it does, just return to the sensation. What am I feeling? And in a moment, I'll invite you to close your eyes and check in again. Do you feel more present in your body? Is there any tingling or warmth or sense of settling? Do you feel a little more grounded, a little lighter? After the exercise, I'm going to invite you to share in the chat what you noticed or what you're feeling. And one more important thing before we go in. Sometimes we slow down and really begin to feel. That's when our emotions can come up. And that's not a problem. Emotions are just information. We've learned this over and again. It's not something you need to fix or to judge. There's no such thing as a bad emotion, but there are some emotions that a lot of us are taught early on to override. And anger is a big one. It was a big one for me. And Dr. Kevin Preston yesterday talked about traditional Chinese medicine and how suppressed anger is often associated with the liver, and it can create a significant energy leak in the system. And that emotion has to be moved and be processed. I actually met with a Chinese medicine doctor for the first time last year to do some acupuncture, and he did a reading on me, and he said, "Ooh, you're holding so much energy in your liver. I can feel it in the tightness of your back and your shoulders." And I said, "Oh my God." Every time I get stressed, that's the first thing that happens is that I can feel that tightening in my shoulder and my neck and my upper back. That's what needs to move. A lot of us were taught that anger isn't acceptable, especially as girls. That's not polite. It's not spiritual. So instead of listening to the anger, the emotion, we suppress it or we turn inward. But anger carries its own energy. And when it's understood and safely released, it can become a powerful force for change. The world doesn't change because people are safe and cocooned. They become angry about something, and that anger becomes inspiration. And this is why meditation alone is not enough. Spiritual practices are not complete without embodiment. Insight without nervous system support doesn't last. And awareness without emotional processing eventually turns into more pressure on yourself. So in this practice, we're not going to try to get rid of anything. We are simply learning how to stay connected to ourselves, even when sensations and emotions are present. And that's where real sustainable growth begins. So before we start, we are going to get into a little movement now. I want you to remember that you are always in control of your body. And if any of this feels like too much, you can slow down, you can pause, or you can breathe. Just breathe. I don't want you to force any emotion. Just allow it and give your body permission to move the energy that's already there. And let's start with standing, if you're able to. My camera keeps adjusting, so you won't be able to see my whole body, but stand with your feet about hip width apart. And take a slow breath in. And exhale with a sigh. Do it again. Feel your feet on the floor and let your knees soften. And we start with this grounding so that your nervous system feels supported. And begin by gently shaking your hands. Just let them be loose. And let that shake travel into your arms. So we're shaking our arms as well. Now your shoulders, your torso, get some movement going. No choreography required. Just letting your body just loosen. And you might sway side to side. You might gently bounce on your feet. Do whatever comes naturally in this moment. This is just helping your body shift out of stillness and into sensation. You're going to keep doing that for about another minute. Just feel everything loosen up. You know, my hips are always tight because I spend a lot of time sitting during the week. So it's really important for us to move and let the energy flow. And now take a breath. And then just begin to notice what you feel. Does your body feel a little more awake now? Is it a little bit tingly? Now I'm going to invite you to think of something that's mildly frustrating or irritating. Not your deepest trauma, just something that's been bothering you or taking up mental space, something you keep thinking about over and over again. And as you think of it, I want you to notice, where do you feel that in your body? Do you feel it in your chest? Is it in the jaw? Is it in your shoulders, your stomach? Where do you feel it? And we're not going into the story. We're just noticing where the energy is actually residing in our body. And if you can, let your hands go to that area of your body for a moment. And breathe, breathe, right? Breathe with the area, the movement that you feel, where it's landing in your body. Just breathe with it. We'll take a couple more breaths here with your hands on that space. This is how we learn to feel the emotion instead of suppress it. Now we're going to let the body express some of this energy. You can start with your arms, gently shake them again. And then I want you to slowly try pushing your hands forward. So like you're pushing something heavy and you're moving it away from you. Push and release. And you can add in a breath if you want, and exhale as you push. Now, if it feels okay, you can add a quiet sound like a sigh, a hum, or a ha. Ha, ha, ha. Sound actually helps the energy to move. And you're not acting out the anger, you're just letting your body discharge the tension. And now you can try squeezing your fist tightly and releasing. Squeeze your fist, release. Squeeze, release. And notice what that feels like. Tension, release. Tension, release. Now shift your stance so you feel strong in your legs. You want your feet grounded, spine tall. You can place your hands on your hips, or you can let your arms hang if that feels comfortable. And you're going to take a breath in. And as you exhale, on the next exhale, I want you to gently stamp one of your feet on the floor. So, okay, that wasn't so gentle for me. You don't have to do it as hard. It just has to be firm. Now the other foot, do it a couple of times. And feel the ground meeting you. This is your body remembering stability and strength. You might feel a little warm. That's okay. We're getting things moving. I'll back to anger for a minute. Anger often carries both clarity for us and self-protection. So we're not getting rid of it. We're just letting it move so it doesn't get stuck inside of us. And now I want you to begin to slow the movement. Let your arms rest. You can bring one hand to your chest and one to your belly and feel your breath again. Notice any changes in your energy, in your mood, in your sense of presence. We always want to follow movement with stillness so the body can integrate. So we're going to take 2 slow breaths here. Let your shoulders soften. Now you can gently return your awareness into the room and notice, what does your body feel like right now compared to when we started? No need to analyze, just notice. This is all part of the process. And if you're comfortable, I'd love for you to share one word in the chat, whatever is true for you. If you're feeling energized, a little bit lighter, emotional maybe, more grounded. This is what I want you to leave with today. I'm focusing on anger today, but just any emotion that you feel. It could be grief, it could be sadness. It's not a problem to eliminate. It's energy that needs movement that's asking to be listened to. And when we learn to feel it in the body instead of suppress it or act it out, then it becomes a source of clarity, boundaries, and a force for change. And this is why embodiment is so important, and why real inner mastery includes your emotions and not just your mindset. And you can come back to this at any point in your day through movement, through breath, through sensation. This is what it means to live with presence. So take a moment to notice what your body feels like now. A little lighter, a little more grounded, a little more alert or awake, or just simply more present. There's no right or wrong way to feel. What matters is that you stayed connected to yourself. And what we practice today is presence, being with in the body, being with the body in awareness. Not thinking about your experience, but feeling it as it happens. And when our emotions are allowed to move, the body settles. And when the body settles, our attention naturally returns to the present moment. Presence supports our clarity. It supports our steadiness. It supports our choice because we're in awareness. We're not just going with whatever other people tell us. We're in awareness now because we're so connected to what's arising for us so that we can make choices that are aligned with what's right for us. This kind of awareness is something you can return to again and again through the body. Sherry, I don't know if I can talk about my free gift now.
Hello. Well, first off, thank you for that. It was like beautiful. And I really was just thinking after completing that, it was that presence over performance. I just feel like we're in this performing energy all the time and bringing us into that presence over performance. So thank you for that. And yes, please feel free to share your gifts. The presence reset, is that
Yeah,
correct?
it is. The
Okay.
present reset is a guided practice for inner stability and alignment. It's a short guided audio with a companion PDF, and it invites you to slow down, to soften, and to stabilize. And the link is on the screen, but I'm sure Sherry's putting it in the chat as well.
Yeah, it's in the chat. Absolutely.
And for the
Absolutely.
full access pass, I'm offering a 45-minute alignment reset. And it's a
Nice.
private one-on-one inner mastery session. It includes an energy scan of the chakras and gentle attuning to what your system is holding beneath the surface, beneath our conscious awareness. And from there, we can begin to explore what's asking to be released or realigned so you can move forward with greater ease and self-trust.
Hmm. I love that. I feel too like just after this morning, as Jennifer opened us up into this possibility and what we're made of, and you really tapped us into, because I felt like after that, oh, maybe there's some more around, like, how do we, as the world is spinning, how do we connect more in with that? And you've really given us a beautiful um, experience. and tools. And so I encourage everyone to reach out, take advantage of that free gift. And then, of course, when you upgrade to the full access pass, you can get all these recordings and as well these incredible full access pass gifts. And Jozanne, thank you so much for your generous offer for a 60-minute alignment and reset. That's amazing.
Thank you so much for having me today, Sherry and Aura. This has been such a beautiful event, and I look forward to being here again and again.
Thank you, Jozanne. Thank
Thank
you
you,
for bringing
Jozanne.
your light and your magic.
Thank you.
Blessings.